How you feel about Kamala saying that she cleaned her collard greens in the bathtub? You seen that video?
Look here. If you ask any black woman around here, in fact, my niece over there or her homegirl about that, they would look at you like you had lost your mind. You do not wash greens in somebody's bathtub. It's a dormitory bathtub, and just think about it. All those folk coming in there with skid marks in their panties and tighty whities, and you're gonna wash your greens where they wash their behinds. No how, no way. And then the other thing is they smell when you get through cooking them. So you're going to do this in the dorm? And I mean, why do you need a bathtub? What are you supposed to be, the cook for the whole dorm or something? That's just beyond belief. That's that's just pandering. That's like carrying hot sauce in your purse. Like Hillary, I carry hot sauce in my purse. See, I identify. Not about okay. That's on the lines of Tupac. You listening to Tupac smoking, and he's 11 years old. You know that's like hey. But you know what the deal is with that? There was an instruction that would be delivered to a jury. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, if you find that the witness has been less than truthful on one subject, you may infer that they have been untruthful on other subjects, and that may tend to impeach their testimony relative to these other elements. Or if you consider the gravity of their misrepresentation of the facts, you may discredit everything that they have attempted to tell you, which is just what you say. You keep lying when we can check you. Are we supposed to believe you when it might be a little bit more difficult? No, you're a lying heifer, and you got yourself out there and you profiled and you tried to style, and it didn't work. We do not believe that you cooked up greens that you washed in somebody's funky bathtub, that your mama would have jumped all over you about had you even thought about it, and everybody in the dorms would say you funked this place up. So what are you trying to do? Because greens smell after a while. So what are you doing? Come on now. Maybe she's talking about one. I just thought of something. Maybe she's talking about one of those big galvanized tubs. So the colored folk are supposed to be squatted down in there with a bath brush, and trying to get the bath while they're doing it, and that's supposed to be the bathtub. But I haven't seen anything like that since I've been about 5 years old visiting some relatives out in the country. That's been 70 plus years ago. So I know she's lying on that too. Like you said.
Me personally, right? I don't see how you can hear that as a black person and not feel insulted.
Well, you said it. How you hear it without being insulted? It's like, come on now. What are you, a dog? Your tail wag? Do you get treats, greenies, kibble, bacon bits? Here, roll over. Let me scratch your tummy behind the ears, and you wag your tail and you can't really understand what's being said, but the dog whistles get blown. What's wrong? I mean, it strikes me that black folk need to stop acting so damn colored and Negro-ish. What is going on here? Get some pride. You're being talked down to. You're being insulted. Somebody's sitting there, did you hear what I said about him? Yeah, damn fool didn't even get it. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but how you feel about Trump appearance at the convention in Chicago? You seen that convention they had for black journalists?
He nailed it. He nailed it. And then remember when the idiot that was interviewing him, how can you call her a DEI hire? Well, all over X, within a few hours, they were playing the old tapes of Biden saying, we have to be progressive, and these things of diversity, equity, and inclusion demand that I bring in somebody like Kamala Harris to be my vice president. Hell, he said it when he announced the order. So what's wrong with him saying DEI? How can you say that? And when he said the rest of it, he was square on point. He wasn't lying. And you look like a fool when you start trying to jump somebody because you go for your propaganda, but you're supposed to be what? A news reporter? And you don't have anything better than that in your knowledge of what's going on, and the facts are so, I guess they have little bird wings or butterfly wings, and they fly off, and you can't pluck them out of the air, so you look like a fool. Trump, I thought, handled himself pretty well in there. I liked it. I laughed. Yeah, it's like, big dummy, don't you realize you got embarrassed and you have no shame to realize it? It's crazy.
What you think about them giving Trump pushback for his comments? Him saying that, Kamala, she wasn't claiming her black side until a couple of years ago.
Let's put it this way. I probably have more black credentials than anybody that was on that damn thing, and I'd do the same thing that Trump did. Like, wait a minute, man, this dude, this like whatever she is, she's sitting there claiming, I've been listening to her for 20-some years. I was in California. She was claiming fame to be an Indian. Now, all of a sudden, she's black. She ain't never been mentioning no Indian except get us some D from, I guess she was getting her DNA dose from Willie and Montel, but I mean, it is what it is. You got to get your flow going, but what are you? See.
So you knowing Kamala before people knew who she was, and you don't recall her ever pushing her black side, ever?
No. What black side? I mean, what black side? And I find it disingenuous. You get all of these apologists who talk about, yes, she has slaveholders in her background, but it was probably because one of her black ancestors, a woman, got raped. No, that is not what happened in this case. It is directly on the white side, coming straight down. And as her daddy says often, he's Irish and he is Indian. So where do you get it? Now, last I checked, I got the rule. You get somebody that's black and they're mixed with somebody French. Are they French or are they black? Black? Yeah. You get somebody black mixed with somebody from China. Are they Chinese? No, they're black. If you get somebody black mixed with somebody German, what do they call them in this country? Black. Okay? The white folk don't even say, oh, that's another German or that's another Irish person, They're black. Now, when the Indians call you Indian and have celebrating festivals saying the first one of us to become so-and-so, that kind of makes the case right there. Because even then, they would be calling you, guess what, if you had that in you. They are not going to adopt you. Nobody wants to adopt us. Except this one new thing. There's a new ethnic group you can adopt. It's just instead of black, it's rainbow. But I mean, they're looking for new recruits. But yeah, I think that's the rule. So the thing that gets me is black, white, brown, red, yellow. It doesn't make any difference. Catholic, Episcopalian, Baptist, Methodist, Hindu, Buddhist, Islamic, Jewish, it doesn't make any difference. This woman has absolutely no connection with American history. People were accusing her of being an anchor baby. She is not an anchor baby. She is the new migrant herself. Now, there are stories around about whether she spent some time in America or whether she spent most of it in Canada, but I know the yearbook she put out says K through 12 up there. And irrespective of that, the bottom line is she's part of the British Commonwealth because that's India, Pakistan, that is used to be Hong Kong, Singapore, it used to be Australia, New Zealand, Fiji Island stuff, Kenya, Nigeria, South Africa, you name it. You don't need an extra passport, you just go in there. So her connection is with the British Empire, the English Commonwealth, the UK, and she has no connection, no ancestors, not one of any race, any ethnicity with a connection to the United States of America. And I'm sorry, that's too much Anubi. You're just coming in and quiet as kept. You're not watching your step. You're trying to sneak. And that is not righteous to me. All of the black folk, brown folk, yellow folk, red folk, white folk that have died setting this country up to get where it is, for her to come in, sneak in and be, into the mix on a loophole and become chief executive of the United States just smells to high heavens to me. And what is the loophole? Well, technically, if you are born on American soil, and it appears she was in San Francisco, the Bay Area, whatever you may call it, and you live here 14 years, you're eligible to run for president. Now, that's all well and good, but it's not like her parents were trying to migrate here. They just had academic visas for a limited period of time. They were going to school in the Bay Area. This is 1964, 63, and she got conceived, and she got dropped off and quickly taken away. Her sister was born in 1967. She was born in 1964. My ex-wife was born in the same hospital. My late former mother-in-law worked as a pediatrics nurse in that same hospital, and she just happened to be dropped off on a technicality. So now, years later, she's running for United States president. That is in the 335-year history of the 235-year history of the United States of America, from the point where the Constitution was ratified in 1789 to now. That is the least connected any candidate has been with the United States of America when it comes to ancestors. And then we don't have her having won one single primary, not one. And we don't even have her selected at an open convention. What in the devil's going on? Something is not right about this picture.